Yes. Everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
I bet y'all didn't know that a chair could do this, did you? Well, guys, thank you so much, Michael, for the neat introduction, and thank you, Alex, for extending the opportunity for me to come do this. It is incredibly good to see some old, familiar faces and an awful lot of new ones. First off, I want to tell you, this isn't going to be just me talking to you. I want it to be interactive. I want you to be a part of it. Are y'all okay with that? Give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Well, first thing I need to do is to talk about the elephant in the room. Why is Jim in that fancy power wheelchair? And why does he talk so slow? Well, let me take you back to the latter part of 2018. I began to notice some weird stuff in my right hand and a heaviness in my right leg. 2019 came and things continued to move along, and I had no idea what was going on with me. Through the course of 2019, we had multiple doctor visits. I did physical therapy. I had five MRIs, as if one wasn't bad enough. And then to top it all off, I had an unnecessary back surgery. Then in February of 2020, just ahead of the entrance of COVID-19 into our lives, I went for a follow-up from that surgery, and we never knew what was about to hit us. We received a devastating diagnosis of ALS. ALS stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. You might have also heard it called Lou Gehrig's disease. And that should sound familiar to you because it is listed as one of the specified diseases on the cancer rider and also on the plus rider. We did get to enjoy, is a weird word, but did get to utilize the benefit because we have that rider on our cancer plan. It didn't go real far, but guys, it was nice to have. Lou Gehrig's disease, or ALS, has affected me primarily in my right side, but both legs. My right hand is almost useless, and my left hand is starting to feel the effects as well. But technically, ALS is a progressive, degenerative neuromuscular disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord, and sadly has no cure. It will eventually claim my life. But guys, I tell you all that not to make you feel sorry for me, but just to educate you and inform you. Please don't pity me. God has me right where I'm supposed to be. I will say that we do covet your prayers, so that would be awesome. Now, let's get into the reason why I'm really here. I know that Mr. Downs and your coordinators have all encouraged you and challenged you with determining your why. Your why is specific to you alone. It may or may not look like somebody else's, and it will most likely change over time, like mine has. I was curious about what why means, so I did like most of us do. I went to the dictionary. Why is defined as for what reason or purpose. That should make sense to you. Now, before I get into my why, I have to tell you and show you about something very important to me. Several years before I joined Aflac, I worked for a Medicare insurance company, and I was in the training department. And one Friday, our leader gave the 6 trainers of us a weekend assignment to generate a wish book, or we might call it a why book. Guys, I found it about a year and a half ago, and it has never left me. I still look at it in awe. In fact, it says, contained in this book are just a few of the reasons why I get out of bed each day and do what I do. It was more for us to carry with us as trainers and encourage the agents that we were talking with to determine their why. And this was obviously long before that was something that was ingrained in me as a culture such as Aflac. But nonetheless, I sat down over that weekend and had some fun. I'm not sure if my family got involved with me on it or not, but I'm not going to show you, but I'm going to tell you some of the neat things that I put in here. I was trying to determine roughly when this was, and I figured it was somewhere around 2002 or 3. So this has been 20 years-ish ago when I put this together. But I put a picture of my family and said, hey, remember these people? They are your family. Everything you do is for them. So that was a quick visual reminder. This one is a picture of a cruise ship. Anybody ever been on a cruise? Well, Melanie and I had never been on a cruise before this. And so I put a picture of a cruise ship and said, stay focused, and one day soon, you will be in a boat just like this one. And I said, it will happen. So I was motivating myself. Then I had some pictures of just other motivators. I had a picture of a pretty house with a pool, a beach scene, some pictures of some mountains and a bag of money. Those were things that obviously were something that I needed to be shooting for. Then to cap it all off, my kids were grade school, junior high at the time. No, back then they were still grade school. And both of them were in private school, both of them had braces. So I'll put a picture of those kind of things as a reminder. And then one of the funniest things at the top was a picture of a dad handing a daughter keys like to the car. And I said, this will be here before you know it. So guys, I had my own wish book or why book from many years ago. And I found that and thought, how cool would it be to share it with my Affleck family? And, excuse me, I would encourage each of you to do this. Sit down, make it fun, get your kids involved, whatever the case is, and put a visual reminder in front of yourself. Now, fast forward to 2008, when I joined Affleck. I don't remember, Michael, if you were already with us or not, but during one of our early meetings, my DSC, Dave Sloniker, had just gotten back from going on a state or market trip to Cabo San Lucas. And if you noticed, we've been there now since, but I had never been to a place like that. And I will tell you, it really lit a fire because he showed us pictures of his trip. I was immediately motivated. He said, if you like going on trips to neat places, this is the gig for you. And I bought in. I didn't know what that looked like at the time, but I'll refer more to that in a minute. Now, the reason I'm here, my why. I'm going to tell you guys, as I made reference to a minute ago, your why will probably change. My why when I came to Affleck in 2008 was, number one, that I needed to provide for my family and pay the bills. Sound familiar? Of course it does. We then had 2 teenagers in the house with very real existing and future expenses, such as there were 4 drivers, we had 4 cars. Anybody been there, done that? It's not cheap. We had future school coming along the way. We had weddings, all those kind of things. So, to say that I was very hungry would be quite the misstatement. I was starving. I had something I had to do, and that was to take care of my family. My wife was a teacher at the time, but that just wasn't going to pay the bills, so we had an awful lot we had to do. I hit the ground running. In fact, you might say I was sprinting, but I was in what I call an unrelenting pursuit of new accounts. Nobody pushed me harder than I did myself. I'm very motivated, self-motivated that is, and very much like being my own boss. I established that work ethic and worked that way continuously for the first 2 or 3 years that I was at Aflac. I had no choice. Now, all of my whys that I'm going to share with you all interlaced. They all stack on top of each other. Now, I mentioned a minute ago that Dave came back and showed us pictures of his trip to Cabo. Well, when I realized that I could go on trips like that, I was all ears. I was laser focused on doing what it took to qualify, and as Michael said, I was blessed to have qualified on going on many trips. I made spreadsheets for myself, track my progress, and something else Dave told us back then is, certainly your coordinators are going to keep up, but you, Jim, need to keep score. And so I did just that. I still have some of those spreadsheets on my laptop still after all these years, because to me it was a blast seeing how close I was and so forth. My wife and I got to go to many exotic places that you're seeing, heard some incredible speakers, and I also heard various music artists perform as well. Now, here's the interactive part of it anyway. How many of you realize that if you make a sale and you take care of people that you get renewals? Raise your hand. Everybody raise your hand. Also, another show of hands, some of you may not know this, but did you realize that once you've been with Aflac for 10 years, that you are vested? That means if you leave Aflac, you go do something else. As long as those people pay their premiums, your renewals go with you long term. Long-term residual income was the next why for me. So that's 3 whys. The cool part for me in my current situation is that those renewals will continue to come to my wife even after I'm gone. That is incredible. That makes me feel good. It gives me peace of mind, and I know that she'll be taken care of to a point. But guys, number 1 over all of my whys is that over 40 years ago, I determined or came to realize that my primary spiritual gift is service. So Aflac fit me like a glove, because that's what we do. We help people. And you know, more than once over the last 14 years, 12 of which I was very active, I kept pinching myself thinking, this has got to be a dream, because it is so much fun and incredibly rewarding. So my spiritual gift of service served me well in taking care of our clients. Now, those are my whys, but I have one more to share with you. Right after I was diagnosed with ALS, my sister and I were on the phone kind of formulating a game of, a plan of attack. And through us talking, we came up with what I call my ALS battle cry. I'm wearing a wristband that says, kind of hard to see. Anyway, it says, I will until I can't. Repeat after me, everybody. I will until I can't. I will until I can't. You could even insert a space after I will. I will attend team meetings. I will check the do not contact list and prospect like my livelihood depends on it. I will ask for referrals until I can. I will help my policyholders with claims. I will fill in the blank. I want you guys to grab that saying. If it's in my honor, great. If it's to help you determine that there is more to it, then I want you to do that. Now, after the meeting is over or during a break, on that far table, the middle table on the end over there, my RSC, Michael Pyle, has a supply of these wristbands. If you would like to get a wristband that says, I will until I can't, I don't know that there's one for everybody, so it's kind of first come, first served, but there are a lot, so maybe I'll be surprised. But please help yourself to grab one of those and see what you can do with it, all right? In closing, I have a story that was also tucked away in my book that I want to read to you, and I want you to see if it doesn't have an application in your affluent world. This is written by a guy named Michael Burkhan, and it came from a cup of chicken soup for the soul. This has been over 25 years ago, but it speaks volumes.
Excuse me.
It's called Service with a Smile. Everything I learned about selling, I learned in one afternoon from my father, Walt, at his furniture store in New Era, Michigan. I was 12 years old. I was sweeping the floor when an elderly woman entered the store. I asked Dad if I could wait on her. Sure, he replied. May I help you? Yes, young man. I bought a sofa from your store and the leg fell off. I want to know when you're going to fix it. When did you purchase it, ma'am? Oh, about 10 years ago. I told my father that she thought we were going to fix her sofa for free. He said to tell her we'd be there that afternoon. After screwing on the new leg, we left and were riding back. Dad asked, "What's bothering you, son?" "You know that I want to go to college, right? If we drive around fixing old sofas for free, we'll go broke. You had to learn how to do that repair job anyway. Besides, you missed the most important part. You didn't notice the store tag when we flipped the couch over. She bought that couch from Sears. You mean we did that job for nothing? And she's not even our customer? Dad looked me in the eye and said, she is now. 2 days later, that lady returned to our store and bought several $1,000s worth of new furniture from me. When we delivered it, she put a gallon jar filled with change, singles, 5s, 10s, 20s, 50s, and 100s on the kitchen table. Take what you need, she said, and left the room. I've been selling for 30 years since that day. I have had the highest closing average in every organization I have represented because I treat customers with respect. I know that so many of you have gotten calls just like I have over the years from people that I didn't even know. And you know, I never once told them to take a hike. I did what I was supposed to do, and I helped. And I didn't get thousands of dollars worth of business from that, but I got lots of other things to take the place. And who knows that I didn't get some incredible referrals out of doing the right thing. So present yourself to your policyholders and future policyholders and know that they help you pay the bills and do so for many years to come. Guys, that's my time. You have been incredible to allow me to come talk to you. I hope that 2022 is absolutely your best year ever, and I thank you.